building can only stand tall if the foundation is strong. Proteins are known as the building blocks of life, ensuring we have a healthy body and lifestyle. Welcome to Protein X Protein Abhiyan, our campaign to make you aware about all things protein, how much we need and where to get it. Through this series, we have been talking to doctors, nutritionists and wellness coaches to understand why most of the Indian population isn't aware of what the ideal protein intake in a day should be. I'm Arun Singh, and today we are joined by Karishma Shah, nutritionist and wellness coach. A very warm welcome, Karishma. My first question, as a nutritionist, people look up to you for health advice. Can you explain the importance of protein in maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
Thank you for the question. Protein is, as you rightly mentioned when you started, it's actually the building block. A lot of people need to realize that, there are amino acids which we really require in our, day-to-day activities, in building muscle, also to keep diseases at bay. If we are somebody who has a family history of diabetes, hypertension, girls with PCOS, thyroid issues, hypertension, which has been running in the family for a very long time. All these things can only be countered if we can eat good amounts of protein in our diet. Weight loss, weight gain, all these things again are very focused on the amount and intake of protein that you take. So these building blocks, which can actually help make our health better, is what protein really is. And, it helps with muscle development as well from childhood onto your, adult years. So I think protein is one of the most essential, nutrients or macronutrients for everybody to consume in their day-to-day food.
And Karishma, if you can tell us the food items that are good sources of protein, keeping in mind both vegetarians and non-vegetarians.
Yes, vegetarians sometimes they get a little scared, but there are a lot of options to eat vegetarian protein items. Paneer, soya, there is tofu, there are all the dals, all the lentils, all the millets. To name a few, what we eat in our regular diet, let's diversify and actually include more things inside. If we're used to eating certain dals only, let's find out more about the different dals and eat them. Whole pulses, sabut dals, all these are great sources of protein for vegetarians. Non-vegetarians, of course, can get their protein from eggs, fish, chicken. I would recommend smaller quantities of red meat, but this is primarily where they get their non-veg sources of protein from.
And through the journey of this Abhiyan, we've realized that most Indians have protein deficiency in their diet. So according to you, how can we bridge that gap?
2 steps. So the first step is that please recognize that your food plate is not only something wherein, it's very taste oriented. A lot of Indians have this thing wherein chatpata hona chahiye, acha hona chahiye, fat rich hona chahiye. That's when it's a meal for them, right? Well, that's a problem. So you need to look at your plate and you need to look at your diet as something wherein it's colorful. There are fruits, vegetables included. There are different kinds of dals, millets, pulses, protein items like I mentioned, paneer, tofu, chas, dahi. All these things should be included in your daily food. So look at your food as a full colorful plate. And the second thing is make sure that at least you're consuming 1 gram of protein as per your 1 kg of body weight. So let's say, for example, if you were 60 kgs in weight, you would have to consume a minimum of 60 to 70 grams of protein in a day. So please look at your food from that angle and then you'll start including more protein throughout the day.
And do you think people are becoming more aware these days and they're conscious about what they eat?
Yes, they, health conscious people are on the rise. And I think there's a need for it because, I mentioned earlier, and, a lot of my clients, a lot of my patients who come to me, right, they also come from a preventive perspective. People are looking at their health from preventive health care now, wherein their fathers, their mothers, their grandmothers, grandfathers have had issues where they've been popping pills for it. I mentioned the biggest pandemic, diabetes in our country, PCOS for young girls. Every second girl who comes these days has PCOS or a thyroid issue or infertility issues, right? So when you are a population that has been exposed to so many things, it's going to be more on a rise for you to follow a more healthier lifestyle. So yes, a lot of people are now finally opening up to creating a health conscious, environment around them.
Who would you give credit to for this change that we're seeing?
COVID, of course, saying it in a very, it's actually a really sad thing that it took us a very deadly virus and took us a very big pandemic to realize how important our health is, and, I think we should give the credit at least for awareness and inclusion of everyday conversation about your health, immunity, and also, preventive healthcare. So I think COVID brought in this big surge wherein everybody finally opened up to this dialogue and we're taking it forward now slowly.
In the end, my last question, there is a huge spike in lifestyle diseases and disorders that we see. And, these can be attributed to environmental factors and poor quality food that is depleted of nutrients. What advice would you give to our viewers to beat such issues with a healthy plate? Because, we've discussed how things are changing, people are becoming more aware, but they're still diseases. So how do we prevent them rather than having to cure them?
Great question again. Thank you so much. The first thing is that please try and avoid. I know it's very difficult in the age of instant food these days. Okay, please try and avoid instant food as much as possible. Try and make more easy, simple meals at home. The more simpler the meals, something simple like dal chawal, a bhindi ka sabzi, some little bit of achar with it is a complete meal for vegetarians and people who need that kind of nourishment. So please stick to simple meals that you can cook at home and, they are nutritious. You know the ingredients that are going inside your meal, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the more health conscious we are becoming, we should also include activity, exercise, because if we're on our phone and laptop the entire day, we sometimes forget that we have to keep our body active as well. So please indulge, or rather, contribute to going and working out, or, taking a walk or something like that. So activity. And the third thing, which I would like to close with, is your mental health. Please take care of your anxiety, stress, and your pressure levels in life, because your mental health and your, gut, which is your stomach, where the food gets digested, are connected to each other in the gut and brain axis. So the more you take care of your mental health and the stress levels, the better you will feel and the more healthier decisions you will take in life.
Okay, as Karishma pointed that it's important to be active, so I'm going to get up from this chair. For that, I'll have to really do a sign-off. So we've come to the end of this segment of Protein X Protein Abhiyan, but you can send us your suggestions on what more would you want us to discuss about protein here. Write to us on social media handles or log on to ndtv.com/Protein Abhiyan and take the pledge by using #ProteinPledge. This is Arun Singh signing off.